Hello there everyone, this is Brother Birch. In this video I'm going to introduce your week 3 prove assignment. Now I want you guys to pay close attention because there were a number of things in this that could throw many people off a little bit. So problem statement, so here's your assignment. Download both these files, weather.html.py and testperiods.py, and save them in the same folder where you will save your Python program. Open the weather HTML.py file and examine it. So this is the module, our weather HTML module that we're going to use. So if you actually read this up here, we are going to need to include that module, and we're going to allow a user to select a city from a list of cities, retrieve the forecast for it, and write it to an HTML file that we can see in the browser. Pretty slick. All right, so let's go ahead and look at that module first. So notice I have, that's not what I want. Wait, yeah, it is. Okay. So notice I have week 3 right here, and here's my weather HTML.py. Okay, so there's a good descriptive comment here, but let's go ahead and look at this real quick. So we have a few constants that are declared, and then I have, anywhere I have def written, I'm creating a new function. So I have create report, it takes in a file name, a location name, and then an object of options. All right, my next function is start new row. So whatever report I currently have declared, this will add a new row to that report. Add a period, I pass in the report, and a given period, this is the time period. But I'll grab that report. Here's my rows, okay, that I was just appending to. So I'll grab the last row that's on there, and I will append a time period. Write a report, all this does is it will grab everything that we have so far and it will write it to an HTML file. Okay, pretty cool. And then we have write period name, write functions that write various parts of a period to an HTML file. Write temperature, write wind, write icon, write short forecast, write detailed forecast. And many of these are called throughout here, but you won't really have to worry about them that much. Okay, right row, yeah. So basically in yours, let's go ahead and look. Let's also look at test periods real quick, and then we'll continue. So testperiods.py, all this is, it just has some periods that are set for you. Now we could technically have the user input this data or grab this data from somewhere else, but this is just a helpful way to have us actually be able to test our program. So we'd say, hey, what is our start time? What's our end time? Does this need to include a daytime forecast? So if I was like pulling this forecast in the morning, then I would say true. I want, whatever the forecast is for today, and then also tonight. Temperature, unit, trend, wind speed, direction. So all this stuff. So this is just a collection of data for a specific period of time and what that forecast is going to be like. Now, if I continue, so this is the daytime of today, which is February 4th, 2020. This is still February 4th, 2020, but now it's tonight. So daytime is false. And so you can see my first value in this array is for a daytime, and then a nighttime, and then a daytime, and then a nighttime. Okay, these are both for the 5th. You can guess what the next one will be. For the 6th, we have true, and then for the 6th, we have false, and then it'll be Saturday daytime, and so far, and so forth. Okay, so basically every even numbered index in this array is going to be daytime, and every odd numbered index in this array is going to be nighttime. All right, so now that we've looked at what the weather HTML.py is and what our test periods are that we're going to work with, let's look at our assignment and what we have to do with these. All right, use this code to begin your Python program. We import our test periods and we import weather HTML, and then we're going to declare a few constants. All right, well, not necessarily constants, but a few variables. So I'm going to say what city name it is, and then we'll have periods. We're going to start with periods that start with the day. We also want to test this as well, so this will be commented out once you copy this code in. And then once you're done, you should have something that looks like this. You should be able to generate an HTML file from your Python code that looks exactly like this. So let's look at this real quick. I actually want to show you guys a little bit of code just to help you get started. So at the top of my week 3 prove, I said declare variables to be used in function calls. All right, you can see I have my city name and my periods. And so this chunk of code right here is what it said to have you copy um, in those instructions. I also made a file name variable, a location name, options, and a size of report. Okay, and then I could call my first thing. Now, the reason why I put all of these in here is because in here, where was that? If we read about the weather HTML module, you can see after your code retrieves the periods, it should call these functions from the module. Weather HTML create report with a file name, a location name, and options. And then it'll do some stuff. And then we're going to start a new report or start a new row from a given report. It'll create a new row. And then we can add periods to that report. And then finally, we're going to write that report. Well, you guys, this is all you have to do. These are the 4 functions that you have to write and figure out how to implement. And so what I figured is, if I just declare a few more of these variables right up here, then I don't even have to change these function calls, but I can actually just like copy them and use them. Okay. Now, obviously, you're going to have to do a couple of things with them because when you create a new row, let's look at this guy. I have a row for this day. I have a row for Wednesday, a row for Thursday, a row for Friday. So I'm going to have to have some type of a loop or something to say, hey, for every 2 times I go through this, or for each time I come across a day, or every 2 times something, I'm going to have to create a new row. And then for each one of those new rows, I'm going to have to add a period for the day and a period for the night. And then I'm also going to have some check to say, hey, if this is actually going to be a night, then I don't want to include the day of that one. So let's go ahead and look at that, our forecast5night.html. Notice that we're starting with night, and we just have kind of a space holder here. For this space holder, technically you could put, where'd that go? You could put this add period right there, but instead of having a given period, you could just have empty curly braces in place of this, so that you basically add a space holder to your row. And then you would print out the night, and then you just keep on going. So yeah, let's see, what else could we look at? And then finally, once you're all done looping, you will write that report to the HTML file. And as you can see in my code directory, a couple of things popped up over here. So I called my HTML file prove.html. It generated this. I didn't have to do any of this. Okay, with the loop that I wrote down here, it generated this file, which is pretty awesome. So once it is generated, you don't have to do anything with it. If you want to test it, I can just right click on this file and hit copy path, come back to my browser, open up a new tab, and just paste that path on my machine. So you can see this is on my C drive, and I can open that up, and here's what my prove.html file looks like that was generated from my Python code. Okay. A couple of other things. There is a PyCache thing here. You don't have to worry about this at all. It's just something that's used when it generates files. So yeah, that is my introduction to this assignment. I'm sorry this video is a little bit long. It's because I know that a lot of people are going to have questions about this, working with this new module and things. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. But I hope that you enjoy this assignment.